Hello and welcome to a gameplay for all seasons. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about the character that I most hope is in this game. So I have spoken about characters I do and don't want to be in this game. We've gone through some students who may appear in this game. I've talked about how Professor Binns may well be in this game. And I've also talked a little bit about some characters I hope are not in the game or at least don't play a big part. But this character I've only mentioned once or twice in passing, and more than that, he's been mentioned in the comments a few times to quite a few of my videos. But as I say, this is the character I most want in the game, and I'm going to go into exactly why that is. As a little bit of a clue, this character links the Malfoys, the Weasleys, Tonks and Lestrange. If you like this kind of video, or you want to just stay up to date with all the goings-ons with Hogwarts Legacy, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. So, the character then that I very much want to see in this game is Venus Nigellus Black. Now, first off, let me explain who this character actually is. Now, if you haven't read the books, but you're more familiar with the Wizarding World through the films, then you may not be as familiar with this character as some of the others. Now, the reason for that is this character only very, very briefly appeared in the films. It was in Order of the Phoenix when Dumbledore was looking for Arthur Weasley, and he asked Black's painting if he could go and check Grimmauld Place because he has another painting there. And as I said, that's the only time he appeared in the films. However, he plays a much bigger part than that in the actual books. And actually, the fact he's not really included in the films actually creates quite a large plot hole that you can't understand if you haven't read the books, which I'm going to go on to. So who is this character then? So he is actually Sirius Black III's, i.e. Sirius Black from the films, his great-great-grandfather. Now, he was alive from 1847 to 1925, and he has been described by Sirius Black III as the worst ever Hogwarts headmaster. Now, the reason he could be in the game is, as you can tell from those dates, he was 1847 to 1925, which means during the late 1800s, he would have been of teaching age. And as part of law, it's not determined when he actually taught and then went on to be a headmaster at Hogwarts. Now, at the time of the Harry Potter franchise, and the reason I say he played a big part is for several reasons. Now, firstly, he had two portraits, because obviously he had died by the time of Harry Potter. He had two portraits, one was in the headmaster's office, and one was in 12 Grimmauld Place. Now, he actually played quite an important part in the story of Harry Potter, and in 1995, when Harry was there, he was delivering messages from Dumbledore to Harry. Now, his kind of key moment in the series, right at the end in the Deathly Hallows, when Snape was headmaster, because Black was a Slytherin, Hermione didn't trust his motives. So she took down the painting from Grimmauld Place, she put it in her bag, that obviously was much bigger than it looked. The reason she did that is so that Black couldn't carry information from his one painting to the other and tell Snape where they were. Now, actually, the fact she put it in there meant he did know location, and obviously they didn't know Snape's true intention, but it's because he knew where they were, he was able to go back and tell Snape, and Snape was able to give Godric Gryffindor's sword to Harry when he needed it in the woods, which is obviously a key part of the story. And you'll remember that it was never actually explained in the film how Harry got the sword. So if you've never read the books and you wondered how that happened, that's how. So aside from what he did in the Harry Potter series, why do I think he's an interesting character? Well, I think his personality is quite interesting and actually quite different to Dumbledore. So his personality was he didn't actually like children, he didn't care for them, he found them tedious, but somehow he found himself in the headmaster's place. He was a very sarcastic fellow, he was very snide, and actually I think having that kind of character in Hogwarts Legacy as the headmaster would actually be very interesting because it gives us something fresh and very, very different from Dumbledore. If you think about the Harry Potter series, you've got Dumbledore as headmaster, he feels very safe, you can go there, and no matter how much trouble you get in with Snape or anything that Harry Potter got into, it was always Dumbledore there to effectively tidy it all up, and he always seemed to be on Harry's side. Now, if we had the complete opposite here, and we had the case that the headmaster was that polar opposite, I think that would introduce a really interesting dynamic that we haven't overly seen before in the Wizarding World. Don't forget to subscribe, let me know if you agree or disagree, and I'll see you on the next one.